Tirzepatide weigh-in, my month-long results and shocking body changes we're going to discuss. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost 113 pounds from Tirzepatide compound, Zepbound, and Manjaro, not at the same time on those medications, and the variations because of the shortages. We're going to do a little get ready with me while we talk about an honest appraisal and some action items for us to do to help jumpstart our upcoming month of how to maximize the next 30 days. Quick editor's note, the theme of this video is embracing the failure and how do you pivot forward? How do you use, quote, failure, I don't like that word, but how do you use things when they don't go well to propel you forward on your weight loss journey? That is the whole messaging like that. First up, I'm going to be using the new Laneige gift set. I'm obsessed with this gift set. Everything will either be linked down here on the YouTube shopping sticker or in the Amazon shopping list in the description. You can pick whichever one if you want to look at the items. This gift set I'm obsessed with. I'm going to buy like 10 of them for people. So if you're in my family, you'll be seeing it again on repeat. So first up, the honest appraisal is I lost a pound, which is great. I'm really not losing weight because I'm in maintenance. Do I have a few pounds to lose if you haven't heard my story? Yeah, I'm waiting for, a lot of it is loose skin. I have a tremendous amount of loose skin on my stomach and my thighs. And it sounds like from what people are telling me, here's my SPF, it sounds like that would be basically put me into my goal weight. And so basically for all intents and purposes, I'm at goal weight. This is also an SPF too. And so with that, I don't really need to lose weight, but that is at the higher spectrum of my BMI, if that makes any sense. So if I do lose weight, it's okay. So I'm not really on a weight loss journey, if that makes any sense, but I'm definitely, so I'm not trying to be in a calorie deficit, but for sure monitoring my calories. And I want to give an honest appraisal. I think that a lot of times creators come on and it's airy fairy and butterflies and rainbows. And I've already cried twice this morning. And I very well might cry in this video because this is hard this is hard. It's hard. It's been a hard month, a beautiful, amazing month, and I am so grateful. I don't want to get it twisted. And that's why I have note cards, because I want to stay not emotional. I want to stay, very well maybe because I'm near that time of the month of why I'm emotional. I want to stay not emotional. I want to stay fact-driven and fact-based driven. I'm using the Tarte concealer. And not that much if you have older skin, like more than 30, just a few, like just a couple of dots. This is probably too much. So an honest inventory of what went well, what we need to work on. If you guys didn't see my live show, I had one in October. By the time you see this, the November one will have already happened, but you can watch the live replay of how do you set weight loss goals? How do you set realistic but pushing goals to help move the needle on our weight loss journeys? Next, Fenty Beauty Foundation. It's my new favorite obsession. I actually used to use the Mary Kay foundation, and I am obsessed with the Fenty Foundation. I am a 170 because I have pinker undertones with my skin. Love this foundation, particularly for mature skin and with more full coverage. So what went well? What went well is I lost a pound. I have been using the Hume scale. I went to go do it again this morning so I could give you an up-to-date realistic thing, and it said that I had gained 2 pounds. This is right after Halloween. Of course I gained 2 pounds. Did I really gain 2 pounds? No. Was it because I had some candy and some other things that make inflammation? Yes. Will that be gone in like a week or two and I'll be back to being like, oh, down? Yes. Am I counting that as a weight gain for me? No. I'm lost 113 pounds. It's because it was Halloween. It's because I took my kid out. We had sweets. I went to our local bakery and bought a ton of sweets. We had all the grandparents over for my kid, and I was hosting that and had chips and things like that. And it was for my kid. And I felt like it was awesome. It was the best Halloween I've ever had in terms of like being a mom, but also in terms of my food. I feel like I ate really, really well. So that went well. Is the scale saying I'm up? Yeah, but is it really? No. Do I take that with a grain of salt? Yes. More for me of, let's stay in the what went well column. Or maybe I should just talk about what I need to work on. Maybe I'll talk about what I need to work on and then what went well. Because a lot of stuff did go well. But I am seeing, and I'm having a hard time with, and I talked about this on my other videos, the input. I'm using the Chanel. This is great, but I probably wouldn't buy it again. I actually very much like the Laura Geller palettes instead. I'm having a hard time with, because for me, it's all about the input. It is not about the scale. It is about what am I doing for those results? What is the action that I can control? Things I can control and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. If you guys saw my October goal live stream, you can go watch the replay of it. I talked about inputs, and I'll continue to talk about inputs on the November live, which will be later tonight, but you guys won't, it'll be after this when it gets released. Talking about inputs, because that's stuff I have control over. There's so much I have no control over, and that is unrealistic to put my basis of my goals into like things that I can't change. So what can I change? What can I do the input on? And that for me is lifting. That moves the needle so much for me, and also tracking my calories and also weighing daily. For me, those things work. You need to do, bestie, what works best for you. If weighing daily does not work best for you, then don't do it. If weighing once a week works for you, or once a month, or whatever. I have liked the Hume scale, but it's giving me some data errors. I also have the cheaper scale on my Amazon list that I talk about, and the smart tape from Amazon as well that I really, really like. So there's multiple options. In my opinion, as long as you pick something to track, a track number grows. So I knew right away today when it was like, oh, the Hume scale wasn't getting all the data. So it tells you like your muscle, you need to know, in my humble opinion, what your percentage body fat is. Straight out the gate. That needs to be something you need to know. The next thing, Lord Geller has a bunch of palettes. I'm loving them. They have holiday ones too for gift sets. There's like a 4-pack. They're amazing. Percentage body fat. And I'm going to do a whole separate episode. Don't worry. If you're like, oh my gosh, what are they? It's percentage body fat, the lean muscle rate. That's another one. There's a couple of them, but those are the two that I'm like honing in on, because the lean muscle rate tells me my muscle. Am I gaining muscle or am I losing it? We know through weight loss that we lose muscle mass loss through any kind of substantial weight loss. And so tracking that is important. And so for me, one of the things, my goal, to cut to the chase, was to lift 15 times in October. I lifted one time. And I feel like a failure. And I don't like using those words because that's not true. That's old tapes of me talking. Of like, I feel like a failure though. I feel like I failed myself. Of like, why didn't I lift 15 times this week? I was supposed to. And that's the thing I can control. But this is where I'm like, if I was talking to one of my besties, I'd say, well, let's analyze the facts. Let's talk facts and take emotion out of the equation. Sorry, I'm looking for one of my brushes to put like my eye makeup on. Whew. What would be the facts? The facts of the matter were I traveled an S-ton in October. I went to HSN. I had Amazon Prime Day for 2 days. I was in YouTube for LA's big event from Virginia all the way out to California. I went to New York City with the Duke. I took him there. Went to JMU football game, and I volunteered a bunch at my kids' school. That's a lot. So out of 31 days, it's at least 8 days of travel. But for me, the recovery of that is a little bit more. So it's realistically 23 days. I was supposed to lift 15 out of those 21 days at home, and I did 1. For me, that does feel like an honest appraisal of that is not a failure, because that's really harsh language, and I don't like using that harsh language with myself, so I need to tone that down. That's old tape stuff of me being really hard on myself, and I don't want to be that hard, but I'm struggling with, not struggling, but what I want to work with is giving grace plus pushing myself. This is my busy season. It is all going to come to an end, as it does every year for my work. December 26th. Really, December 19th is basically when I stop working. And I'll be able to chill out, enjoy the holidays. But me pushing the next few weeks, like, I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I'm trying so hard to balance being a mom and working out. And like all the things, and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, of like, I am pulled on every end, and I'm trying my best on every end, and I feel like I'm not showing up for all these different pieces well. Today we're going to go to my kid's soccer game. It's his big like final finale, and I feel like on the mom front, I'm trying as hard as I can, and I feel like I'm doing the best I can there. That's the most important piece in being a good wife. I don't feel like I'm being the best wife to my husband. I feel like I'm very snappy to him, and so like everything is just getting my final reserves on that. And I know that this is temporary. It happens every year. Oh, I'm like snotting. I need to stop. Oh, I need to stop. I switched palettes because the other one was giving me no pigment, and also wanted to collect myself. I don't want to like boohoo ball all over the internet. I feel like I need to be honest with an honest appraisal of how I'm doing. But how do I push myself with grace in the midst of things being so rigorous with my schedule? And my husband is reminding me that my health comes before my job. And my old tape and the old version of myself, the 300-pound version of myself, is I would always put my job before my health. And I've done that this month, taking this honest inventory. That is evident to me that these travel days were for work, and I didn't budget well around that. Did I still lose weight? Yeah. And that's where the grace comes in of I still lost weight. I still gained muscle. When I was traveling, I made sure to get my steps in. I felt like I was pretty good about that. And that for me is the honest appraisal of I've done a good job in terms of being movement. That is a new change for me of like when I'm at the airport, making sure I'm getting extra steps, making sure I'm just even monitoring my steps on my Fitbit has been awesome. And that I'm super, super like, that's the honest appraisal of not everything went well in terms of lifting. And lifting to me is the most important thing in addition to tracking my calories to move the needle for me. You do you, but for me at this phase, this juncture where I'm at, I gotta be lifting. This is awesome, but this needs to be like, I can feel I'm not as strong as I wanna be. And I really want to change that. And how am I gonna change that? Through lifting. And so that is what I'm gonna work on. In November, my goal again is 15 lifting days. It is November 2nd. I have not lifted yet as I'm filming this. I have not lifted yet for this month, but I'm going to. Today, like, this is where I'm trying to figure out, and what I want you to figure out too, if you're having these like roadblocks, is how are we gonna do it? For me, lifting 15 days, I only lifted one this last month. And what I was doing is I was gonna lift in the evening, AM versus PM for lifting. That was the bottleneck. That was the juggernaut, not the juggernaut, but that was the bottleneck of where I was not having maximum output. For you, where is your bottleneck? There's a whole book on it. My old mentor, amazing mentor, made me read this book, and my husband, about bottlenecks in a factory, and it's very applicable for health. I'm like, that is so, and I read that, it was like a very old business book. Anyways, I digress. I forget the name of the book. If you know it, put it down in the comments below. And if I remember it, I'll put it in the comments below. But lifting in the evening is not working for me. Clearly, if I can go back through and be like, that is the bottleneck. That is not working. I need to change it up, even if it's just for not permanently, because permanently, if my schedule wasn't this rigorous, it would be better to, it would be much better to lift in the evening. And so to lift in the evening with my schedule, but that's just not working. So I've got to do it in the morning / midday while my kid's at school. And so that for me, like I'm going to try it. I'm really nervous about doing that. That's really going to cut into my work time, but I've got to get a little bit more creative. I've got to, because all of this is for naught. My husband and I were talking about this morning as I was crying. All of this is for naught if I'm not actively working on the changes on my health, i.e. lifting. That is important. Like, what are my goals? Like, and when I lay out my life goals, it's my spirituality with God, my family, and then my career. And my health is like God, health, family, maybe health and family about the same. Like, but I continuously put my health so far down the list. It's crazy. And I'm like, that is old tapes, old stuff that I really, really need to work on. And the reason why I'm doing this video is like, part of it's embarrassing of like, oh my gosh, she's crying on the internet or whatever. I'd rather be honest for you to see if you're going through the same stuff. You are like me, super, superly high productive in your job and hitting these walls that it's not been easy peasy, lemon squeezy, airy fairy. Like, that's not been my journey. And if that's been your journey, I'm sincerely so happy for you. I wish that that was part of my, I wish that that's been my journey, that it's been like, oh, just been rainbows and butterflies the last almost 3 years. That's not been the case for me. I have actively had to fight for my health and will continue realistically. That's why I'm making some of these changes, is I see where this is going. And again, like I said, I know for the next 50 days, it's going to be intense, and getting through these next 50 days and really embracing and enjoying my favorite time of year. I love Christmas so much, embracing it, but also not neglecting my health. I feel like my food choices for things that went well were awesome. Like, relatively speaking, when I traveled, I sought out fruits and vegetables. I sought out healthy foods. And like, that is a completely different change. And also tracking my calories too. I did a good job making sure I was trying to track my calories as well. That was also an awesome change that I had made this year too. That was not like any other year I've had. And I got to give myself credit for that. And so I want to encourage you for your month in review, like, what are you giving credit for? Like, what has that for me? If I tracked my calories, I still lost a pound. All of those metrics, my human scale is not popping up right now, or else I would list all of them out. So next week's video, I will go through the specific, I'll do a whole separate video though. I want you guys to know about, even if you don't have the human scale or the Amazon cheaper scale, you don't necessarily need the human scale. You can use the Amazon cheaper one if you want. There's two different options. I'll do a whole video on it because I think having that data is really important to be able to know and figure out. So bottom line, the track number grows on that, and that's really, really important. Next is going to be Color Pop Lippy, and then I'm going to use the Lip Pump and then a little bit of the Fenty as well. One of the things that I am, and I've always said turtles win, is I will rally from this. I will always push ahead. Like, that's just who I am as a human being. And if you've made it this far in the video, you probably are too. We will figure it out. I will figure it out. You will figure it out. And part of stumbling on this journey, I don't even think I stumbled, just bothers me very much that I didn't hit that lifting. I thought that was like such an easy, winnable goal. And now in hindsight, I need to know for next year, October, November, and December, like, I have to be on my A game in terms of my schedule for lifting and for... My husband also said to me, do you want to stop taking all these trips? You traveled quite a bit. You could have not taken our son to New York City. You could have not gone to the YouTube open house in LA and flown across the country, which, by the way, when I do those trips, I typically do them in a day. People are like, oh, come visit. And usually I can't because I fly out at 3 or 4 a.m. and I get home at 10 or 11 at night. And I do that like laborious trip so I can be here for my son. So when my son wakes up the next day, I am here. I may be very tired, but I am here for him. That to me is like super important. That to me is putting my son first. And hopefully when he gets older, he'll realize like that was one of the reasons why I do what I do, is I don't want to be away from my son that long. I could, and I know as my kid gets older, that also very well may change. He's 10, the Duke's 10, and he still wants to be around me sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And so with that, because he's still, like his soccer game today, he wants me there, I'm going to be there. Like, he's going to get older and he's not going to want his mom around. Mommy's not going to be around as much. So I know that part of this is going to change. This is just part of the season for now and the seasonality. And I know many of you are going through seasons. There's so many people in my free encouragement group who are caretakers for their parents or for their spouses. And that schedule will eventually shift for them. And so I think that that's important to recognize too. It's for this season, me figuring out in this season, what's the best. It's not going to be permanent. Like, this room is so dirty, by the way. My husband and I are both mortified. I'm like, I'm packing for another trip. And there's like packing stuff all over. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts and it's going to be nuts. But how do I keep my health at the forefront of it being nuts? And by the way, nuts is in terms of like, I have everything I've wanted. Literally, this is the other thing that I've gone through of like why I was crying about doing my inventory. Everything that I had this month, I have prayed for decades for. And like, that makes me cry. Like, I've prayed for all of this. It's all stuff I really wanted. There's a big project I'm doing. I can't even talk about it right now. I'm under like a hardcore muzzle, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, but I can't even talk about, like, I have prayed for so much of this stuff. And not like all of it. And it's all come true. It's all come to pass. And I feel like some of the pockets I'm not being a good steward with. And that's where I feel a little bit like it's all happening at once, which is amazing and such a gift and a blessing. And I'm having this like, do you guys have this where it's such goodness that I'm kind of repelling some of it? And I want to embrace it and be grateful. And I'm trying to stay in a place of gratitude and being grounded. Like, grounded in, I am so grateful. I'm so, so grateful for all of this. I can see the puffiness, by the way, from a Halloween candy I've eaten. Like, trying to contour it out. There's some puffiness going on. I asked my husband, I'm like, does it look puffy? He's like, I'm like, be honest. And he's like, kind of. I've prayed for all of this. And I don't want to repel all these beautiful, amazing blessings that I'm having. And so I'm trying to like be arms wide open of like, I have asked for each and every single one of these things. Like, my dream was to go to the YouTube event. It's the YouTube event in LA. I'm not trying to brag or boast. I'm not, that's not right. I didn't get invited last year. There's like a certain echelon you have to hit to get invited. And I got invited from Virginia. Some people, if you're like in California, it's a little bit different. But from Virginia to get an invitation, like, it was a big deal. because I have never been invited before. And I know I've not been invited because it's a certain echelon that you have if you're not in California. Anyways, I was invited. It was a huge honor and blessing. New York Fashion Week with YouTube, never been invited to that. Like, that's where I was like, I prayed for these things. I prayed for these things. And the fact that I've gotten them, like, I wasn't going to turn them down. And I prayed about it too. And I felt like it was the right thing to do. Like, I wasn't just acting on impulse or whatever, if that makes any sense. That's not part of this video, but I feel like the context of me talking about work stuff is part of this video, because I know many of you are also high performing men and women too with your jobs. And I'm gonna use the L'Oreal and Follow spray. The point of why I'm trying to share all these like boohoo moments is I know the different details may be different, but the feeling and experience may be the same on your weight loss journey. I've got the new Fenty, that's not new, but they're lip gloss, and then also the new Fenty holiday gift set for creams. I don't know if I should use Naughty Nutmeg or Warm Cinnamon Shimmering. I don't really want shimmering, so probably the Naughty Nutmeg. I am sharing these details because your details may be different, but what you're going through of feeling overwhelmed or that you're not hitting your goals may be the same. And so our action items, because we're action focused here at Countess of Shopping, not problem focused. I put dry shampoo in there to help get some grease out. We're action focused and solution focused and not problem focused. So the solutions of this are, here's the Naughty Nutmeg. This is what they look like, by the way. Super cute stocking stuffer gifting idea, by the way. I'm kind of obsessed. I want to buy a bunch of extra for myself because I think they're limited edition. Oh, that smells good. Oh, that smells really good. The takeaways are: take an honest inventory, take emotion out of the equation, although I have a hard time with that, clearly, you guys just saw, of me crying. But I feel like also, I don't want to come on here and be fake. I watch some of these, I don't typically watch people in the weight loss space because I don't want people to ever accuse me of copying, so I typically don't watch that. But for the ones that I have, like, they pop, like on TikTok I'll watch because they're not YouTubers usually. And then as I watch them, I'm like, that is not my experience, strength, and hope at all. Like, I cannot relate to people who just fly through. And I think maybe that they have not been morbidly obese if they're on a GLP-1 medication, and maybe that's some of it as well. But for me, being morbidly obese and weighing over 300 pounds, that this has taken some time to unravel and will continue to. And I've made such great strides. And I'm so proud of myself too, by the way, of taking an honest inventory of, I caught that in October. In November, like normally this would be like a January conversation. I just let all of this roll, and it's not, it's a November conversation. And that's really, really cool that I can nip this in the bud, so to speak. And I'm really excited for November because I'm going to do a check-in in 2 weeks and be like, okay, how is this going? How is all this working? Am I doing this? Like, don't mind my nightstand. It's like so dirty. Hold on. I'm like, don't look at my nightstand. I need to clean that. There's a lot of stuff over there. Now that I recognize the bottlenecks, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do? The action items. So the action items, and I've talked about this on the live I'm doing the live tonight, but you guys will see it afterwards. You guys can see the replay more in depth on the SMART goals of how to really hit those goals when you miss a goal, when you feel like you've stumbled. I don't like using the word failure in that. That is old tapes and that's not accurate and that's not true. So if you're using words like failure, take that out of your vocabulary. For me, that sometimes pops up and that's old tape stuff that I have to be like, rewind. That is not the truth. And we got to keep it in the truth. We've got to be honest with our inventory, honest. And so for me, I feel like grace plus pushing is something I'm also going to work on in here. I have my goals, but when you take a realistic perspective of the inventory, like it's hard. It's hard. And so I don't want to make excuses. But I also, the other thing my husband did say, I don't want to make excuses, but I also want to push myself. My husband and I were talking, we have a family member, I've shared this before, over the last 3 years, who's had colon cancer, and we've had some really sick family members. And so that has not been, we have not been actively helping with that because it's in remission for now. And so that was a blessing. Like that was a huge gift that we weren't running to the hospital every other day, because that has been previous months of where literally I'm like, okay, I'm going to work out at nighttime. And then we're all at the hospital or things get jumbled or, oh, I'm taking my husband's taking our kid to our soccer game. And then it has to like, I have to come get him. And it's like, that didn't happen at all this month either. And that truly is a gift because it makes me see from other people in my family of taking care of myself. So My husband and I have talked about, I need to get another mammogram. I've shared, if you saw my other videos previously, I'm supposed to have my 6-month checkup. I haven't had it. It's a couple months overdue. I need to go do that. And particularly with our insurance changing, many of you guys heard our story about how my husband worked for Homeland Security in, when did he leave? I'm like, when did he leave the Homeland Security? He has his master's in cybersecurity, and so he left Homeland Security before before what's happening now is happening. Anyways, so our insurance is changing with that. And so figuring that out, we have COBRA right now and like sorting through that. We don't qualify for ACA, like the Obamacare stuff. I don't know. Anyways, it's my husband's figuring all that out. But all I know is like, do we have health insurance? Because I need to get my boobies checked for my mammogram. So, which we do. I just need to go do it. Taking a deep breath, love, grace, kindness, and compassion. What's the next loving choice, and make a plan and stick to it. And my business mentor, Leola Hermosi, says, F the mood, follow the plan. F the mood, follow the plan. So I'm going to make a plan that also has in here, if I'm traveling, I will be up at HSN like 4 days. Add in Thanksgiving in there, add in Black Friday, like with Amazon Prime Day where that knocks me out for like 2 days, but really it knocks me out for like 4 total. For Black Friday, I'll get knocked out for like 4 of those. So I'm factoring all of that in on a calendar so then I can be like, okay, here's the days I can hit it, knowing now, like it's going to take advanced calendar planning is what I'm saying. And so I want to encourage you too, that's something you can control. That's something I can control, of looking at my planner and seeing, okay, what's the availability, right? And then sticking to it. F the mood, follow the plan. So I got to come up with a plan, which I'm doing this afternoon at my kid's soccer game. As we're driving, I'm like literally going on my Google Calendar and be like, here's the 15 days I'm lifting, non-negotiables. And that was one of the problems with my previous ones. I didn't have those 15 days sorted. It was airy-fairy of, I'm doing 15 days, but okay, if I had pulled up my travel schedule, I would have seen that that's not realistic not to have that sorted. So it's going to take some hyper-organization on my part. I don't like being that hyper-organized, but for the level and goals in which I want to achieve, I'm going to have to be. So there's some reckoning that's happening with that too. It's a long-winded video. I hope it's helped you in some capacity. The takeaways are you lifting or moving your body? If you're not, for me, my first year, I just focused in on walking. You know what's best for you. You choose what's best for you. None of this is medical advice, always touching on healthcare provider. 2, figure it out on your calendar. Figure it out on your calendar. Leaving it airy-fairy is not helpful, particularly when you hit a busy patch like I have. Number 3, giving grace while also pushing. How to maneuver that of like, I don't want to cheat myself by having fake excuses, but I also don't want to overly push myself that's unrealistic. So finding the common denominator with those. And then number 4, having somebody who helps hold you accountable. Hopefully in my free encouragement group, you have that. For me, it is my husband. It used to not be my husband, but my husband we both actively lift. It's something that we found, we do it, we don't do it at the same time. No. We tried that a couple times and we're like, we're not doing this. We lift differently, but he has been active in his workout. So it was like, come on. And so I appreciate that. So I am grateful too. That's one of the other things I want to say is I'm really grateful. I may be feeling overwhelmed, but everything that I have, I've worked really hard to achieve. And I feel like I've been entrusted with that for the things that I've been given, that I've worked really, really hard for decades for and prayed for, and I'm getting it. And I don't want to come across as ungrateful because I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative to be able to do what I've been doing as a video marketing expert. Like, that's crazy. I don't even know, expert, video marketing enthusiast, a video marketing specialty that I have for myself. And I used to work with celebrity clients. Being able to do what I do and get the opportunities that I do and be around the celebrities and people that I get to, it's amazing. And like, what a gift that is and how grateful, like, don't get it twisted of any of this video. I am very grateful and very appreciative and have worked very hard for these things. And that hard work does pay off. And I just need to, sorry, squirrel moment. I got the new Dolly Parton lip liner and I didn't use it. I really am curious what it looks like. Hold on, we gotta take a Dolly. If you know Dolly Parton, you gotta take a Dolly Parton break real fast. I gotta see what she looks like. It was just like lying here, not in my makeup bucket. Wait, this is what it looks like. Dolly Parton unboxing here. That's a pretty color, isn't it? That would look nice. That probably would have looked just as good. Ooh, she pretty. Okay, I'll be wearing that once this comes off, which it will later on. I love you guys so super much. Our emoji of the day today is going to be a pink flamingo. Y'all, I love pink flamingos. Pink flamingos and giraffes are like my favorite, and lions, and opossums now are on number 5. Like, I'm obsessed with them. But pink flamingos, we're going to put pink flamingos if you made it for the emoji of the day. I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. And it's also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought. As all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. I'm going to go get to it, get some work done, and I got to get my lifting in today. So I'll be posting about that in the free encouragement group. Make sure you post in the free encouragement group today too, if you're struggling or if you have a victory, giving encouragement or getting encouragement. Beautiful thing about the group. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.